Good morning students. I am teacher Salungi TB from Sri Shivaji Vidya Mandir and Junior College, Aund, Pune. I welcome all of you in this session of English language. Students, in the previous session we completed the lesson on to the summit we reach the top. Today in this session we are going to begin with section 2, that is poetry. In this session we are going to start with the first poem. The title of the poem is Cherry Tree. So this poem is written by the famous poet and writer Ruskin Bond. This poem is ecstasy over nature or a cherry tree. In this poem, the poet expresses his wonder at the ways of nature. The poet has successfully created a concrete or a realistic picture of the nature, mentioning the variety of aspects of nature in this poem. This poem can be said as a struggle against the adverse condition. This poem also inspires one to fight against those who try purposefully, intentionally destroy the efforts of fulfillment of dream. Students, this poem has the concrete beginning, middle and end. Similarly, in this poem, different places are mentioned. All the incidents are arranged in the proper sequence. The poet has mentioned some characters in this poem. These characters communicate with each other. Similarly, when we think of the style of language or linguistic features of this poem, the poet has used a number of literary devices like alliteration, personification, rhyming words in this poem. So, before we begin the actual poem Cherry Tree written by Ruskin Bond, let us see first of all two important activities given in the icebreaker section. So let us start with the section icebreaker. Students, I read the first activity from the section icebreaker. The title of the first activity is Trees Are Revered because. Students, the meaning of the word revered is to respect or to honor. One point is already given. I read the first point. Trees are revered because they give us joy. The second point or reason we can mention here is that trees prevent soil erosion. Erosion means affecting surface of soil. So trees prevent soil erosion. The third point we can mention here is that trees fulfill our basic needs. Fourth point we can write here is that they provide shade and shelter. Apart from these points, we can also mention they give us food, medicines, wood, besides many more useful things. So this is how the first activity can be solved from the section icebreaker. Now let us move to the second activity in the section icebreaker. I read the activity. You look at page number 65. Column A shows your involvement in growing a tree as well as the stages in the life of a tree. Column B shows the feelings you experience at all the stages. Match them appropriately. Students, in the A column, we have 7 stages in the life of a tree. And in the B column, we have 7 types of feelings or experiences which match with the points given in the column A. The first point in column A is you planted a sapling. So the correct answer for this point is you wanted to make a humble beginning. The second point in the column B is you watered the plant. The correct match with this point is the correct match for this point is you cared for it. The third stage in the life of a tree is you saw the shoot for the first time. The correct experience from the B column is the new experience brought excitement to you. The fourth stage in the life of a tree is you fenced the plant. The correct match for this point is your motive was to protect it. The next point is the plant gradually saw lush green leaves grow on it. The correct point for this is the color symbolizing life gave you a feeling of hope. The sixth stage is had birds too. And the correct answer for this point is gave you a feeling of joy to see the promising future. And the last stage in the life of a tree is birds made a nest on the tree which was fully grown and laden with flowers. The correct answer for this point is you were happy and satisfied because you experienced what you had often heard, that small beginnings can lead to a great achievements. So this is how we have solved both the activities from the section icebreaker. Now let us come to page number 66. So before we begin with the actual poem Cherry Tree, let us discuss something about the poet Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond, born in Kasauli, Himachal Pradesh in 1934, Ruskin Bond has written hundreds of short stories, essays, novellas and more than 30 books for children. His first novel, The Room on the Roof, written when he was 17, received the John Llewellyn Rhys Memorial Prize in 1957. He has also published 2 volumes of autobiography, Scenes from a Writer's Life and The Lamp is Lit, a collection of essays and episodes from his journal. In 1992, he received the Sahitya Akademi Award for English Writing in India. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999. Ruskin Bond lives with his adopted family in Mussoorie, Uttarakhand. The poem Cherry Tree is about the poet's ecstasy over a tree which he planted, which took 8 years to grow. He is expressing his wonder at the ways of nature and how the cherry blossoms are fragile and quick to fall. The tree gives him immense joy as he can see the stars and the blue sky through dappled green trees. So students, this is what we have discussed about the poet Ruskin Bond, and in the second paragraph we have also discussed little bit what is the poem about. Now let us move to the actual poem. The title of the poem is Cherry Tree. We will study this poem in two sessions. In this session, we are going to discuss the lines only from page number 66. So I read the lines from page number 66. I hope you must be having textbook with you. I read the poem. 8 years have passed since I placed my cherry seed in the grass. Must have a tree of my own, I said, and watered it once and went to bed, and forgot, but cherries have a way of growing. Though no one's caring very much or knowing, and suddenly that summer, near the end of May, I found a tree had come to stay. It was very small, 5 months child, lost in the tall grass running wild. Goats ate the leaves, the grass cutter scythe, split it apart, and monsoon blight shriveled the slender stem. Even so, next spring I watched 3 new shoots grow. The young tree struggle upward thirst, its arms in a fresh, fierce lust. So I will explain these lines from page number 66. Students, in the beginning of the poem, the poet clarifies that he recalls that before 8 years or 8 years ago, he had placed a cherry seed in the grass. Let us look at the first 2 lines. 8 years have passed. It means before 8 years or 8 years ago, the poet had placed the seed of cherry in the grass. He remembers he wanted to have his own cherry tree. That is given in double inverted comma. Must have a tree of my own, I said. So the poet was of the opinion that he wanted to have his own cherry tree. So after placing a seed of cherry in the grass, he watered the seed or the ground where he put the seed, but forgot about it. Next line, though no one's caring very much or knowing, and suddenly that summer near the end of May, I found a tree had come to stay. The cherry tree, in spite of his carelessness, actually the poet frankly admits here that he did not care for a seed he had placed in the grass. So, without care, the cherry tree had survived. And when did he come to know that cherry tree had come to stay? At the end of that summer, the poet noticed a small cherry plant where he had placed the seed growing among the tall wild grass. If you look at the lines, it was a very small 5 months child lost in the tall grass running wild. So these 2 lines makes it clear that the poet's observation is very keen, meticulous. The poet compares the cherry tree with 5 months child, and the cherry tree was growing in the wild grass. No one had known about it nor cared for it, but it was small, tiny 5-month-old sapling. As the cherry tree was growing in the grass, so it was unnoticeable in the grass. Goats grazing there ate its leaves, and grass cutter scythed the parts of the cherry tree with the sharp cutting blade. But in the monsoon, in addition, in the monsoon, a disease, there is a word blight. Blight means causing damage. So in monsoon, a disease withered the little cherry sapling. Now let us come to the next line. Shriveled the slender stem, even so, next spring I watched 3 new shoots grow. So, though the plant of cherry tree had many problems like goats, grass cutter, monsoon blight, 8. In the next spring, the poet saw that the plant was not only alive but had 3 new shoots. Let us come to the next line. The young trees struggle, upward thirst, its arms in a fresh, fierce lust. So, in the introduction, I told you this poem is a struggle against the adverse condition. So, though the plant, small plant, tiny plant of the cherry tree was attacked by goats, grass cutter, blight, it seemed pushing upward towards the sunlight and air, struggling to somehow stay alive. I read the lines from page number 67. For light and air and sun, I could only wait as one who watched wandering while time and the rain made a miracle from green growing pain. I went away next year, spent a season in Kashmir, came back thinner, rather poor, but richer by a cherry tree at my door. 6 feet high, my own dark cherry, and I could scarcely believe it a berry, ripened and jeweled in the sun, hung from a branch just one. And next year there were blossoms, small, pink, fragile, quick to fall, and the merest breathe, sleepest breeze. Now that the poet knew the plant was alive, he was impatient to see it grow further, but he could only wait as the young sapling took its time through the seasons. He felt it was miraculous. It was wonder that the plant was alive and thriving. After some time, let us come to the next line. I went away next year, spent a season in Kashmir. So, after this condition of the cherry tree, the poet went away to Kashmir and spent 1 season in Kashmir. But when the poet returned, when the poet came back, he himself was thinner, not having much money. So the poet was poor, he didn't have money, but to his surprise, to his wonder, he was thrilled to see that the cherry sapling was now a 6 feet tall tree. So he felt so happy, he felt so proud of his own cherry tree. And I could scarcely believe it a berry. ripened and jeweled in sun, hung from a branch just one. So in this way, he could not believe. It was unbelievable for the poet that there was actually a ripe red cherry hanging from a branch. The next year, the tree had delicate pink cherry blossoms. The beautiful flowers were so beautiful that they would fall at the smallest breeze or slightest breeze. Let us look at the last line in the first part of the poem. At the merest breeze, the sleepiest breeze. So the flowers of the cherry tree were so beautiful and also fragile that even the smallest or merest breeze or slightest breeze may make the flowers to fall on the ground. So in this way, students, we have discussed the lines from the first part of the poem. I hope you must have understood this first part of the poem. We will continue the second part in the next session. I conclude my lecture here. I stop here. Thank you.